Hey guys, sorry, I cut off on that last video. I was going over they don't like change, right? So going back to hitting for average, this is part two. So hitting for average is consistency, discipline, of which I went over. I went over reliable backbone quite a bit, but the autopilot, the resist change, that's so huge, right? Resisting change, they hit, they want to get on base, they want to get a walk, they want to get hit by a pitch, they're willing to do all that, but they resist change. Anything big, anything huge, they kind of just get back a little bit. They like that consistency. They like that autopilot consistency where you're getting on base every day and you're doing the small things, playing small ball, right? But when it comes to something big, they resist it, and we'll get into why. Then there's arm strength. Arm strength, you're thinking like arm strength, you're strong, you're buff, whatever. No, arm strength, how far can you throw the ball? In business, the natural gift side of that is influence and clarity. It's communication, alignment. Aligns, inspires trust, right? That's influence, good influence, not manipulation. Influence. Healthy influence is okay. Influencing someone that may not know everything that goes into a decision, a new manager, or someone who doesn't know about a new client or a new market enough. So you help them, right? That's a form of influence, but it's doing it correctly, not a manipulation tactic. Clarity aligns, inspires trust, but then there's also theatrical and silences nuance. We'll get into that in a little bit, especially the theatrical side. Like, how is the influence and clarity theatrical in a bad way? It's because theatrical means you could be a little too animated. You could push a little bit too much for things that you want to pass through. And you'll see that when you go over this, right? When you go over this model. But this is it, the five tool employee framework. It's a performance x ray for high stakes environments. Each tool maps to a baseball skill, but beneath that, it's about how people behave when the game's on the line. Not just what they do, but how they win, lose, recover, and repeat. So, hitting for average, what is it? Reliability, rhythm, and getting on base by any means necessary. I don't want to lose you with the baseball stuff. I'm just like I said. If you remember what I said, baseball statistics, analytics is huge in baseball. Some of the best universities and statistics in the nation, in the world, are involved in baseball because baseball is all about statistics. Man, it's been around for over 100 years. It's older than golf, I believe. I mean, it's huge. It might not be older than golf. Sorry, don't quote me on that. But baseball has been around a long time, right? So grinding out at bats, drawing walks, fouling off pitches, taking a hit by pitch. It's not about flash, it's about keeping the inning alive and winning ugly if you have to. Fouling off pitches is huge. It really is. Think about being in a sales perspective or an engineer. Fouling off pitches. What's fouling off a pitch? If you don't know baseball, when you're at the batter's box and someone keeps hitting the ball and they keep fouling it off and it keeps going, you don't get out. You can foul a pitch off 20 times and you're still on base and you're still alive. Tell me that's not engineering, sales, HR, hiring the right people, but you keep going, hiring the wrong people, but you keep going. You can't get your product right, so you keep fouling it off. You keep making mistake after mistake, but you know that you can still make that part. You can still get on base, right? Sales. I mean, how crazy is it when you get 200 leads and you don't land one client? How crazy is that? How upsetting is that? How daunting is that? Right? It can really, really kill your motivation. But these people get on base. These people know that you have to have 200, 300, 400 leads before you get that first one. And when you get that first one that actually replies to you, when you get that first one that actually responds to you, what if they're going to price gauge you? What if they're really going to talk to you about everything you've done and then they ghost you and never talk to you again because they want to get your pricing? They want to know what you do. So that way they can tell their best friend that works at a competitor, hey, look, this is what they sent me. That stuff happens, and we all know that it does. But fouling off pitches, those little mistakes, like you didn't turn the bat the right way, you didn't swing the right way, whatever, but you're still alive, you're still in the game. Fouling off pitches is huge. That's why I love hitting for average. In business, it shows up every day and delivers. No drama, no excuses. Gets the job done, even when the conditions suck. Doesn't need applause, just needs the ball in play. Builds trust through repetition, not rhetoric. Builds trust through repetition, not rhetoric. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Where it shows up, the account manager who never misses a renewal, right? The operations lead who keeps the machine humming, right? The individual contributor who ships clean, consistent work. The shipping department, palletizing the product, just putting it in the system that it's shipped the right way, right? having partials, putting it in the right area, so that way they don't just keep piling up. The machine, it's been running extremely well. The sales team, the operations team, they keep telling you, don't shut it down. It's running good. We need to finish that order. Yeah, but the thing is, it's due for maintenance. It's running well right now. We have a whole nother week to run, but the order's due in 2 weeks. If this machine goes down for this issue, for this certain component, we don't have any in stock, and it might take 2 to 4 weeks to get the part from Germany, Japan, China, wherever the case may be. It's going to take 2 to 4 weeks to get it. Well, what if we overnight it? Even if we overnight, it's going to take a long time because they might have to machine that part. They might be out. Well, go look. I understand that. I'll go look. I'll let you guys know tomorrow's meeting at 7 a.m. where we're at. 7 a.m. hits. They don't have the part in stock. It takes 2 to 4 weeks. All you got to do is put a case study together that shows if we go down 2 to 4 weeks means we're going to be late on that order, and we were late multiple times because of this before because we never stopped the machine. So yeah, your operations guy comes in and tells you, hey, we need to keep running the machine. It's only 3 more days after the scheduled maintenance. We're going to be fine. You show your data and it shows that we're not fine. We have to hit at that point because that certain component fatigues or just goes bad after a certain time, and it doesn't just um, go away a couple days at a time or 3 days at a time. It doesn't erode like that. It just completely breaks. That part of the machine completely breaks like that. And when that part breaks around this time, we're definitely going to be in trouble. We're not going to make our deliveries. That kind of stuff, right? Sorry, I know I go off on tangents, but I've been in these situations before. Behind the curtain. So I'll put a psychological lens on this. I explained the big five personality traits. I explained Enneagram, DISC, Patrick Lencioni's model, leader member exchange. But the real method behind my madness is I'm using a lot of stuff like psychological capital, social behavior, the social cognitive theory, social behavior theory. I'm using a lot of psychological theories that I've used out in the field that are practical, and I built it into this model. A lot of things that I've seen as well of people talking certain ways or certain mannerisms, certain cultural shifts. Everything that I've learned, I've put into this model. So that's why I put behind the curtain. What's really happening in a psychological sense, in a psychological framework? What's happening behind the curtain, right? Hides in routine to avoid risk. They like just skating by, getting it done. It could be bad because it could become a habit, which you don't want to do more. And then when you start doing reviews, and you a couple years have passed by, and you keep telling them, like, you want to race, but you're not doing anything more. You're doing what you're paid to be doing. You're not going up over and beyond. Are you hitting your numbers? Yeah, but that's your job. Your job is to hit your numbers. You're not saving the company money. You're not bringing the company extra money. You're just hitting your numbers. And sometimes that could create a disgruntled employee, right? The silent quitting. It can create that because they're thinking that they should be getting paid extra for doing what they're supposed to be doing. I totally understand that. And that's why this is an evaluation tool as well, not just a hiring tool. It's an evaluation tool as well to let them know what's going on, to seeing if they're going up over and beyond, or if they're just trying to get on base. Resist change, even when the game shifts, gets overlooked in cultures that reward flash over function. Exactly. Again, you're just skating by while other people are a lot more flashier. And that upsets you because you think to yourself, or you ask yourself, I wonder if I should be more flashy. I wonder if I should be more loud, right? May quietly resent being the glue without recognition. You are the glue, but nobody sees it. Nobody recognizes it because you're so quiet, and because you bunt, you get hit by pitches, all that stuff. You do the dirty work and you don't get recognized for it. The next one is power. What is it? Initiative, ownership, and game changing force. With the swing of a bat, you can change the game. Baseball lens, the home run swing can clear the bases, right? Can clear the bases or strike out from swinging from their heels. Think about can clear the bases. You have your salesperson, they got a strong lead. Your customer service rep quoted an amazing price. Amazing price. Your scheduler put a great schedule together with actual dates that they know they can reach. Then all of a sudden it comes to the negotiation table and they say something like, hey, you know what, Brian? I want 30-day net terms. We can't do that. We can give you 10-day terms, net 10, and you get like 2%. savings. Great. Or you're in a situation and you say yes or no, whatever the case may be. Or you're in a situation where you're going to get a lot more work, a lot of work. However, we want a price deduction. And we want net 60, not net 30, because you're getting all this work. So everything's been set up. Your team has quoted the right stuff. All the right people have been put into place. But now you're at the negotiation table. And you're going to say, you know what? No, we're the best there is. I'm not going to give you a decrease. I'm not going to give you the terms that you want. I'm just not going to do it because we're the best. Can clear the bases or strike out swinging from the heels, right? Maybe that's your business. Maybe you don't need that extra business. Maybe you're good and you want to stay where you're at. I totally get it. But what happens when you just strike out and you're just sitting there and now you've wasted all the time of your team? Now your team's trying to realize, why am I here? Why am I doing this if we're not going to go after that home run? If you're, as the owner, as the executive, as the CEO, if you're not going to back me up and if you're not going to go to bat for me and hit the home run when I need you to, because we're all on base, why are we here? Why are we here? And why didn't you tell me before not to go after that? Remember the communication part we talked about in the fielding, the arm strength? Why didn't you tell me to not go after that kind of work if you didn't want it or you didn't need it, right? So power is high risk, high reward, and it changes the scoreboard fast. Now the other bad part of it, or the other good part, could be good, could be bad. What happens if you do swing for the fences and you tell them, you know what? We're going to give you net 60. We're going to give you price decrease as well because we know that we're going to be okay. But your team, your person on third base is telling you that's not a good product, man. We're going to have to invest a lot of money into this product because it's not running efficiently. Or we're going to have to invest a lot into this market because this market's not hitting. We're going to have to be the first to market, or we're going to have to be the first person creating this new product, right? And we'll go into some other presentations, some other lectures or teachings, whatever you want to call it, about new products and new markets with new products, whatever the case. But we'll go into that later. But right now, what if you're not talking to your team about what you can or can't do? What if you're not listening to them? And what if you do land something, but you don't cover all your bases? You hit the home run, but you didn't pay attention to the third base. And third base is screaming at you saying, this is not a good product. It doesn't have legs. It doesn't have consistency. It doesn't have a future because the industry is shifting this way and we're going this way. So even though it seems really good right now for the next year or two, and we're hitting a home run, we're not really thinking about the future. We're not thinking about the market capabilities. We're not thinking about that kind of stuff right now. We haven't done a market analysis. We haven't done a marketing analysis. We haven't done any of that. What happens if you do get this new product and the clients that are buying it are 1 foot in, 1 foot out the door? What happens with that? That's why you do quarterly business reviews. That's why you vet your clients. A lot of people don't vet their clients, but that's why you vet your clients and you talk to your clients. You don't just get any single client that you want to get in the door. You have to understand that if you want a successful business, you have to get clients that are in areas or in markets or with product that you know is within your wheelhouse, within your capabilities. And that could be one of the bases, right? So if you land this huge deal with no future at all and you didn't do your due diligence, yeah, you hit a home run, but did you really hit a home run? Did you win the game? Because you might have hit a home run, but you lost the game, right? So you can see why I have so much fun with the baseball analogies. So power is high risk, high reward, and it changes the scoreboard fast. In business, take swings with when others freeze. Such a cool thing because I've seen this in the field. People freeze and you have to jump in and help them. But it also makes the people freezing look like they don't know what they're talking about. Owns outcomes, especially the ugly ones, so huge. Who does that? I've only met a handful of people that do that. They actually own the outcome. They actually own when they made a mistake. So many people, I would say 95 out of 100, maybe 97 out of 100, love to point the finger first before anything else. They rather quit than admit that they made a mistake. That happens so much. Creates momentums others can rally behind, doesn't wait for permission to lead. That could be bad though, right? So where it shows up, the founder who ships before the market is ready. We were talking about that kind of stuff. The team lead who takes the heat for a failed launch. The individual contributor who fixes that broken system without being asked. So huge, but it could be bad. Behind the curtain, bulldozes alignment in the name of urgency. Got to get that done. We got to get that shipment out, right? Got to get that shipment out. Yeah, I know it's due for maintenance, but just keep it running because if we make this delivery on time, we're going to hit a home run with our client and they're going to want to do more work with us, right? Okay, cool. You're not there. You go out to a convention, you go out to a